Great to have you here on the Clark Howard Show. You know, our mission is to serve you with advice and information that empowers you so you can make better financial decisions in your life. So I think about in any meeting I'm in, a lot of people get bored in meetings. And what do they start doing? They start looking at their cell phone. And they start disengaging from whatever's going on. They miss whatever's going on. And I know I wouldn't name my son as having been guilty of this. I guess the statute of limitations has run out because he's in college now. But when he was in high school, I don't know what he learned or didn't learn because it seemed like he was always on his phone in every class. And I know this makes me a terrible person, but I really like it that more and more schools and slowly spreading on school districts are banning the use of cell phones during classes.
Why does that make you a terrible person?
Well, because it sounds like I'm like taking away independence.
I don't think
kids.
so. I think it makes total sense. My son's school banned cell phones.
And did they use these pouches?
No, they didn't. They just, if you were caught with one, they have relatively small classes, you were in trouble.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, your son went to a school that had demerits or something like that, like points you got against you?
Yeah. And he did not escape those.
He would get...
Oh, gosh.
Well, he's statute of limitations, too, because he's at the same college.
Yes, yeah.
Grant. But demerits, that's like a throwback. Mm-hmm. Although when I was in school, we got hit, so...
Oh, well, okay.
Did you get hit when you were in school?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Mm-mm. Well, anyway, so I remember the belt. And anyway, enough about that.
Yeah, if you said
Cell
you wanted to
phones.
bring the belt back, then we could say maybe you're
I did not.
teetering on being...
I did not.
Okay.
So I guess compared to that, this is pretty benign. I really believe that kids will do better in school, without a doubt, if they don't have the cell phones. But I've read these stories about what's happened in schools where the kids have their phones taken away from them. And there was a story in Bloomberg that was just so fun because the students now who first hated it loved not having their phones after a while because they found they weren't as lonely. And they had to interact with each other. And it turned out, hey, this is actually fun. Talking to other people. Forget what was going on in class where academic performance got better, but their social skills improved. And people learned to engage with each other. I mean, this is so weird. I mean, you just talk to other people face to face instead of on some social media. And so I think this is something that has lots of benefits, practically from an academic standpoint and socially. So I know that because of, it's rough, but the problems with the school shootings, a lot of parents are very nervous about their kids not having access to their phones. I don't even know what to say about that. But I think as far as taking the phones away, the school districts that do so and the private schools that do that are doing a really smart thing. Because I think giving people back the ability to have a attention span in class and the ability to have to interact with each other and learn to socialize with each other in human form instead of digital form, I think is absolutely great. And I'm going to leave it there, except I'd love to hear your blowback on Clark Stinks. Clark.com Clark Stinks. And tomorrow we will have Clark Stinks for you. I love hearing what you have to say. Actually, not tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't keep my days straight. It's only Wednesday.
You want the week to be over.
Isn't that funny how you lose track of days?
Yep.
Okay, so
All
2
right.
days from now we'll have Clark Stinks.
All right, we'll go to questions. This one came in from Patrick in Washington. I have a 2016 Tesla Model S 70D in perfect condition with 47,000 miles on it. That's pretty low for that age. Like many of us older Tesla owners, our battery range is not much and slowly degrading over time. Would you recommend changing the battery, which could cost upwards of $20,000 according to what I've read? Or would you buy a new car? I currently have a range of 175 miles at an 80% charge.
So, Patrick, rocking a hard place here. I would absolutely not pay $20,000 for a new battery pack on what's now a 9 model year old, 10, yeah, 9 because the 25s are out now, or will be in a few weeks. I would not do that. The value of the Model S's, the older ones, has fallen so much that you'd be spending maybe what the remaining market value of it is on the battery pack. At the same time, the 70Ds have proven to be extremely reliable S's. And if you can get by with the range of 175, except on trip mode, I would keep driving it and get some more years out of it because it's already so heavily depreciated out. The best thing is to keep the wheels on the road.
Carol in Florida says, I'm 73 and my husband is 64. We are both retired only on Social Security of $3,300 a month. We own our truck and our RV camper. We've been traveling in the U.S. since we sold our home 2.5 years ago. We have a total cash of $420,000. We want to pay cash for a home with a value of about $250,000. We would like no mortgage. Is this a good move based on our income and cash?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to say not likely, Carol. The amount of cash you have, you would deplete so much. And that cash now can throw off some decent cash for you to use every month. If you take it from 420 down to 170, the amount of available cash you have every month is so small, you have removed the wiggle room in your life. And I'm going to say something that you may not like, but I would say that it would be a better idea for you to rent. There are so many more houses for rent than historically there have been because people locked in with ultra low mortgage rates and are moving somewhere else are keeping those houses. And we get the questions repeatedly about people who are moving somewhere else, but they're keeping their old house because it's locked into a really low mortgage rate. I just don't feel you leave any wiggle room in your life going into owning a home and reducing your cash level so much. And then everything you've got to do is pretty much within the 4 financial walls of the $3,300 a month you have from Social Security. So it may not be a popular answer for you, but I think it would be better for you to rent instead of own.
And you've said most people are, with housing prices the way they are right now too,
Yeah,
regardless.
the math is compelling that the cost of renting a place is so incredibly cheaper effectively per month than the cost of home ownership.
Carol in Florida says, that was Carol in Florida. Tyler in Utah says, I recently discovered that the 401k third-party administration company for my small businesses plan misapplied large sums of money for me and smaller amounts for some of my employees. I'm confident the administrator will correct the problem, but a similar situation happened with them last year. It's time for a switch. I'm wondering if you have any recommendations for low-cost third-party administrators or tips for locating a good company.
So the problem with an administrator messing up, occasionally that's going to happen. That it's happened 2 years in a row, that is very concerning. And the question is, over the last couple of years, we've had a rising market. Are they making up the opportunity cost, the lost funds that people lost from the period of time that the money was misallocated? As far as picking an administrator, this is so ridiculously timely, I can't stand it. Investopedia just last month has a new update on administrators for small business 401k plans with a list of recommended companies or reviews of various companies. And you can see if you go check out the companies that Investopedia has researched, what kind of administrative costs you'd have and investment costs your employees would have with these various administrators. Some of them are large, well-recognized companies. Others are smaller administrators. And I would start with the Investopedia list. The article is slugged. What is it slugged? It is slugged top 10 small business 401k plan providers. Simple enough. And the research and writing of Investopedia for a variety of investment topics is top drawer. So it's understandable and well done. So give it a try and see if you get the information you need on where it would be best to move. Coming up ahead, I got something really unusual to talk about, very unusual. It's about restaurants bringing people in new ways to try to overcome how inflation weary we are. You and I have been losing so badly with what food has cost. And this has been a really, really bad cycle in the grocery aisles and in the restaurants. And the grocery thing is turning around. I mean, a lot of food items that had spiked so much have come significantly down in price, others not yet. Hear me say not yet? Because the marketplace rules. I've talked about the power you and I have. And the restaurants, even when grocery prices started leveling off and a number of items started coming down in price, restaurants kept pushing prices up because the restaurant business has been having a really rough time making it work. And finally, we hit that wall, and a lot of it out of financial necessity. The number of times people eating out, people have cut back. And people are saying, I'm just not doing it. And the combo meals that the fast foods live by had hit a price point that people were like, I can't do this. And so let's start with the fast foods. They're all rolling out what's old is new again, combo meals at much lower price points than where things had pushed to because of buyer strikes. McDonald's was so successful with the $5 thing where you get like double cheeseburger, some other entree, and the nuggets and a small drink and a small fry for $5, that now, even though the franchisees said they hated it, now 90% have extended it beyond the original promotion date. Burger King's doing specials. They're doing these things right now. And then the sit-downs are really, really in two worlds. Sit-down restaurants that are geared towards the wealthy, they're doing fine because the wealthy seem to be doing, about 30% of the population seems to be doing just great right now. But everybody else, particularly something that's not a restaurant geared towards the wealthy, they're really having to respond to the market. And some have been able to come up with things that have really worked to bring people back in. You think about Olive Garden with the, Bottomless salad and something else.
Pasta.
It's pasta. And this thing of creating perceived value with all you can eat. There's a place near me called Red Robin that now has 9 items, food items, that are unlimited or bottomless. And it really seems to be attracting people. And so what's funny about the 9 items, we got 3 different kinds of French fries.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got mac and cheese. Then we've got
broccoli.
Well, I was going to get to that. Then we got
first.
chips. Okay. And then we've got broccoli 2 different ways, coleslaw, and a salad. I wonder which of the 9 people are gravitating to ordering bottomless. I'm somehow guessing it's the fries, the 3 different ways, the chips, and the mac and cheese. But in my case, you know what I'd have to be eating bottomless, right?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. The superfood that I learned to eat 16 years ago, even though I used to hate it. Now I love broccoli. So having the bottomless. And then they've got a bunch, like any place, they've got the drinks with the free refills. But this is the thing, is that you're now being listened to. And you're going to find more and more that when you decide, okay, we're going to splurge, we're going to eat out, you're going to find more and more deals. What the restaurants count on is you're lured in by the deal, but then you order something else. What your wallet is asking you to do is to respond to the deal and live by the deal.
And beware of the Clark Howard Bermuda Triangle of the restaurant menu. Appetizers,
and
alcohol,
desserts. Alcohol and
desserts.
I don't even think alcohol since I don't drink, but definitely appetizers and desserts. The markup on desserts is crazy. I mean, it may cost a restaurant 25 cents for a dessert they're selling for $10.
All right.
And maybe 50 cents. But the markup is ginormo. You know what has the biggest markup, though, of every item in a restaurant?
Specials?
Iced tea.
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed. Iced tea used to be just something you'd see in the South. Now you see it all over the country because the glass that the iced tea is put in probably costs them more to have and wash and rinse and put out again than the ingredients that go into the glass with the iced tea.
All right, we'll go to questions now. This one's from Blanca in Florida. My insurer is offering an identity restoration plan for $3 a month, and here is what it does. Full service restoration, dedicated specialists, 24/7 live support, up to $25,000 in expense reimbursement. Do you think it's worth it?
Not worth the $36 a year. So here's the thing. These identity theft things that say, we'll cover up to X number of dollars. Most of identity theft is not going to be the loss of actual funds. It's going to be the hassle involved. And a lot of credit cards offer as a benefit, you don't even realize that they offer this kind of stuff for free. And the value of it, I find, is not really great. And the question, Blanca, is do you have your credit frozen? The greatest insurance any of us can have against the hassles of identity theft, and it won't cover every last possible permutation, but credit freeze is the greatest thing you can do. And still today, even though millions of Americans have their credit frozen, most don't. And so if you go to clark.com/credit freeze, costs nothing other than maybe 15 minutes of your time. Credit freeze will give you so much more peace of mind in practice and mentally than signing up for any credit, identity theft, restoration, or anything like that.
Rick in Washington says, we are expecting our first child.
Congratulations.
Congrats. After our first doctor visit, we were sent home with an informational packet that had a brochure for a company that has some kind of, I gave you the company name, customized custodial account with high fees. First, I'm guessing there are better options at Fidelity, Schwab, or Vanguard. Second, what is it? And third, is a 529 a better option?
So, Rick, there's a lot of questions right there. And I'm fascinated that either, I assume, an OB practice is getting referral commissions for getting people to sign up for a fee-based investment plan. And I've looked at the plan. The fees are not great, but not horrible. And I don't recommend this. But what you asked me is really a great question that my answer to has changed because of a change in federal law. So culturally today, we don't know, as people have turned negative on college, we don't know if our kids are going to go to college anymore. And you're asking what's going to happen 18, 19 years from now if your baby is going to go to college. Maybe, maybe not. So would you do a 529? Yes. 529 remains the best thing to do for your child once your child is born because of the flexibility now built into a 529 plan. They are ultra low cost. All the good ones you buy direct, meaning commission free. The fees are just ridiculously low with all the good plans. And we have a list of what we believe are the best plans at Clark.com.
Clark.com/529.
Okay. And so if you do a 529 for your new bundle of joy when it comes along, she comes along. I said it, didn't I? That's terrible. Anyway, when your child is born and you have a 529, one of the good ones, the beauty is you can put in money into it and you will be able down the road, if your child does not go to college, to tax-free transfer to another child, if you have another who is college-oriented, or you can convert the money tax-free into a Roth IRA up to $35,000 under today's law, which means you are able to jumpstart enormous financial security for your child, regardless of what they end up doing, whether it's college or not. And the Roth angle is phenomenal because that money will have had an opportunity to grow from such a young age and continue to grow through an entire working lifetime, tax-free, and then be spent tax-free.
This is from George in Georgia. I purchased a portable air conditioner from Amazon. When I opened the carton, I realized it wasn't what I thought we needed. I put everything back in the carton and notified Amazon I was returning the unused item. It was a third-party return. Amazon notified the third party to send return authorization. It took several days for the company to get me a return address label. All returns from this company are via FedEx. It cost me $178 in shipping to return this $243 item, brand new in the box. I would emphasize to your listeners to be very careful of buying from third-party Amazon retailers.
Oh, man. Oh, man. We've talked about how Amazon has been tightening its return policies. That's on the small percent of items sold on Amazon that are actually from Amazon. But what we've not addressed is what you just did, and that's that sellers on Amazon are allowed to have any return policy they wish, and the hurtin' for certain is clear. And I just saw a story, gosh, I don't remember where it was, about it showed all these packages people were trying to return and how everybody is unhappy right now about returns. The retailer's unhappy, the customers are unhappy, that you got to know before you order, not just from Amazon, but from any site, you got to know what your rights are for return, refund, exchange. And these retailers of all kinds are losing so much money on returns that the policies on return are getting really painful for us as a customer. So before you order from anybody, you got to know. In the old days of Amazon, saying, yeah, whatever it is, send it back, our problem. Nope. More and more, it's our problem as a consumer, not Amazon's problem or any other site. Their problem has now become our problem. And the cost of returns, I gave a stat back at Christmas. Do you remember what it was, what the percent of returns are in the United States?
I don't.
That stat was, and who knows how accurate it was, but that roughly a third of items ordered online in the United States are returned. The rate outside the United States, 3%. So we have had a culture that order whatever you want, return whatever you want, and it's not working out for the retailers, and that's why these policies are getting so ugly for us. So have a great, great day. Look forward to serving you tomorrow, and know that we serve you so many different ways on social media, with our newsletters, our websites, clark.com and clarkdeals.com, and as we've done for now 31 plus years, one-on-one free advice and guidance from our Team Clark Consumer Action Center, available to you 30 hours each week, again for free. Go to clark.com/CAC to see how you can access the free one-on-one advice. And know what we're about, you learning ways to save more, spend less, and avoid getting ripped off. We'll see you tomorrow.